Libraries are now available in Marketplace. This means that you can build and sell libraries, as well as take advantage of library features like version control and easy importing that weren't previously possible in Marketplace because you had to clone projects. So in this video, we're going to talk about two things. First, what are the main kinds of libraries? And second, how to actually use them and import them into your projects. Okay, let's talk about the main kinds of libraries. And there's really four: pub.dev wrappers, UI component libraries, utility libraries, and complete toolkits. So let's take a look at each of these. First, pub.dev wrappers. Pub.dev is an incredible repository of packages that range from utility libraries, UI component libraries, to full-fledged solutions for integrating backend services and third-party APIs. So building out one of these packages in FlutterFlow is a great option. Okay, but what does it mean to build out one of these packages? Well, that simply means building out the package's main features in FlutterFlow's custom code modules. So if it's a UI component library, then you would build out those components as custom widgets. If it's more of a utility library, then you would build them out as custom actions. And remember, you would use custom actions for these and not functions, because actions support pub.dev dependencies. So once you find a library that you want to build out, you want to get to know the library and its API and build out the main features and functions in FlutterFlow. So maybe you want to build out this cryptography library with all of these hashing algorithms. And I've done that right here. So now these are super easy to consume by anyone who needs them. Or maybe you want to build out this for UI component library. They've got a huge selections of beautifully designed widgets, and you could build these out as custom widgets in FlutterFlow. Now, two things to keep in mind. First of all, be complete. Try to build out as much as a library as possible. When the users see a name of a library, they're going to expect that they can use all of it. So make sure you build it out. And second, test. Make sure that you test everything yourself in real-world app flows, use automated testing, as well as testing with real users. This will go a long way to ensuring the quality and resilience of your library. Okay, those are pub.dev wrappers. Next, UI component libraries. Now, component libraries are composed of pre-built widgets that allow you to design your UI faster and with more visual consistency. And building out component libraries like Radix or Ant Design is a great option because they already have a large number of users and have been time tested. Now, this is different from using component libraries from pub.dev because you'll be building them out using mostly FlutterFlow's built-in widgets. And this is actually what we've been doing internally with the shadcn library. Stay tuned, it's coming soon. But here's some things to keep in mind when you're building out component libraries. First, anything in a component that you want your users to be able to change, make it a parameter. For instance, I've got this alert component right here, and these parameters right here are the things that I'm exposing to anyone who's going to use this library. So these are the things that can change. So when a user is using this library, it'll look like this. So these are the only properties of this component that a user can modify. And of course, you don't have to expose every property, only the ones that you think it's reasonable that a user would want to change. Second, colors. Currently, the way that colors work is that if you're using theme colors, the consumer's project theme colors will overwrite them. So for instance, in this component library, this is where I'm building it. If I come over to my theme settings right here, I've got all of my colors right here. So I've got this primary off black color right here. Well, in the consumer's project, I have these colors, and these will overwrite the library's colors. So whatever's set to primary will be this purple color, not that off black color. So what does this mean? Like, what should you do because of this? Well, there are currently two recommendations. First, if you're building a library, don't use these theme colors, hard code the colors in. Now, I know this isn't ideal, and this is actually going to be changing pretty soon, but currently this is the best way to do it. For instance, I'm here building out this component, and for the color of this text right here, I don't want to set it from one of these colors right here. I want to put the hex value in directly. Now, the other way you can do that is if you do use these colors, so let's say you had this primary set right here, in this project where I'm consuming the library, I can double click into that component and it'll bring up this read-only view of that component. Then I can come in here and look at the project's colors and copy and paste them into my theme colors. So I would take this primary color right here and paste it into my project's theme colors. That's the first thing. The second thing about colors is, just like with every other property, if you want your user to be able to change it, make sure you expose it as a parameter. Once again, we know this isn't ideal and it'll be updated soon. Third, avoid infinite heights and widths. widths. And that's because when you're designing component libraries, you want them to be composable. And composability means that you can seamlessly use components as blocks to build up your UI without errors. And when you use infinite height or widths, it's easy to get those unbounded height or width errors that are so common. And you can avoid them by simply avoiding setting infinite height and widths. Okay, that's component libraries. Third, utility libraries. Utility libraries package up functionalities that are designed for some unified purpose. Now, this certainly has overlap with that first category of pub.dev wrappers, but it goes beyond that because sometimes utility libraries will involve multiple packages, or sometimes it'll involve multiple packages and additional features that allow you to provide a complete solution. So some examples of these would be a Bluetooth utility library, or it could be a complete cryptography library. That would involve multiple cryptographic packages because neither of them provide all of the cryptographic functions that you need for a complete library. Or third, API libraries. And this is a super common one. This could involve both the API definitions as well as custom data types so that you can easily consume the response. For instance, here I have a library for the OpenAI API. And so I have all the endpoints as well as all the custom data types. Okay, last and finally, complete toolkits. Now, a complete toolkit will most often include a combination of multiple things. Most commonly, it'll include APIs to fetch data, custom data types to consume that data, UI elements designed to display that data, and some logic like custom functions and actions for the transformation of that data. And these are super powerful. Take that last example of the OpenAI library. To make a complete solution, we could add UI elements for a chat use case, because that's probably 99% of the use cases for people that are using this API. There are also probably common data transformations that we're going to need for consuming and storing the responses from OpenAI in our backend. And many other companies are building out complete solutions. These include Adapty, who's building out a complete toolkit for payment management, PowerSync, who has solutions for a local SQLite database with automatic backend sync, and Appwrite for managed backend, including authentication, databases, functions, storage, and messaging. Okay, so that's building out libraries. Lastly, let's look at how to use libraries. So I'm here on a marketplace item that I want to add as a library. And before we do that, if you scroll down, you can see that we're going to get some details about what's actually in this library. So for this library, we can see we've got 2 pub.dev packages and 13 custom actions. Now, all I need to do to add this library is to add for free. And just like that, this has been added as a library. But what's it been added to? Well, it's been added to your account, not to any individual project. This means that you have access to this library in any project. So let me show you how to add it to a project. Now you add these libraries just like you would add any library. So go down to settings right here and in project dependencies and add a library. And you can search for the library and there it is. And just like that, we can see all of the resources that are imported from this library, and you just use it like a normal library. One thing to keep in mind that all the resources that are imported will not be populated in the definitions where you create those items, so custom actions here, but at the binding or the use of those resources. So for instance, if I had a button right here and I wanted to trigger one of those actions, let's add an action right here. Under custom actions, there we'll see them all populated down here. And that's how to add a project. We can't wait to see what libraries you're going to build. Let us know if you have any questions, and we'll see you in the next video.